However, there's been a little bit, we're just going to address the drama about it, all right? So some of the questions people have been having, some of the things people have been saying, I just want to set some records straight, clear some things up, and show you some really cool features that we've been working on. Big shout, all these questions are great questions. We want people to have questions. We want to be able to answer them. I just want to clarify them with the right information. And I actually noticed that Bardwell spoke about these in one of his streams a little while ago. So how do we make money or something like that? So these were sort of...
So the way that the site's going to make money...
Can you guys hear this? If I'm playing this sound, does this come through for you?
Is either by paid subscriptions. Did it have a paid subscription? I think it did. So it's going to have paid subscriptions, which there aren't going to be very many of those. Or it's going to be or it's going to be advertising, which if it collects traffic, they could make some money with advertising. Or it's going to be affiliate sales or affiliate sales.
How do we make money on DIY FPV? How is it going to be sustainable? All that sort of stuff. It is, first and foremost, it is not subscription based. We are not going to run advertisements. And the best part, like when he said, like, is it going to be affiliates? It's not affiliates. So none of those things that are, I guess those people are saying, or Bardwell and Blunty are discussing there, is not how we're going to make money in DIY FPV. That's not how we're going to fund the site or anything like that. And if you do, even we can take it like one step further. If you do want to use the site, you can even use your own affiliates on there. So this is made for everybody. And maybe you're someone who's a big creator like Bardwell or Nurk or someone, maybe even just someone else who's making great content. You think, yeah, I want to make some stuff. Use the site of DIY FPV. And you can put your own affiliates in there. Like, I don't care. Use your own links. Like, that's what it's all about. It's built for everybody. It's by FPV pilots for FPV pilots. So the plan is we offer enough value to stores that we will have partnerships with the stores themselves, which is completely separate to everything that you guys can do. So you can use all the services. You can, whether you just want to use it for shopping or whether you want to use the builder or any of those cool features that we're going to have, there is no way that it affects you, and you can actually even use this site in ways that will increase your revenue. Bardwell had some really good comments actually. Is it impossible? So I think Blunty had this to say. I
just want to say, like, the issue I have with this is you can't do this. This will not work out, and the reason is because you can't keep up with all the components. You think you can, and you can't. It's just impossible. And it's like, my problem isn't that I don't think they can do it. I don't think they can pay people. I think it's literally impossible to do based on the information available to people out there in our products.
All right, so I think this part really comes back to, like, no one has seen DIY FPV. They don't know what we're aiming to do. They don't know why, like, what this started as or anything like that. So I feel like there might be some assumptions about this. Like watching one video when I first said, hey, this is a cool website that we're working on, and saying you can't do that, is you might be saying, hey, the idea I've got looks really hard. I don't know how I would come up with a website that I think looks like this, but what we are doing could be completely different to whatever Blunty's thinking about in his. We're just showing what we've been working on for the last year. And I honestly would love to chat with them. Like, they've got some great ideas. And I think Bardwell actually sent me some really cool messages, and it was great to see, like, he's going through some of the ideas that we had back in the day when we were going through our design documents and trying to solve things. Now, this one was kind of interesting. Like, what's the value of it? So
what are you actually adding as a value add for people to visit?
That was in there somewhere where Blunty said, like, what's the value? What's the purpose of DIY FPV? So when we're doing DIY FPV, like DIY FPV, it's for everybody. When we have this website, for every single pilot, whether you're a newcomer, whether you just want to be, you might just want to use it for shopping, you might want to jump over, you might want to go through the catalog and find a great way to find some pilots. You might want to use it for meeting up with other pilots. You might want to be part of a community. So you might want to have places where you might want to make guides. You might want to read guides. We're going to have options to, like, manage your race integrations. We're going to have options for, like, you would have seen a little bit when we go through and we talk about, like, our building schematics and how you can, I guess, create things and share things with people. We're going to have a troubleshoot option, which you can see is up here. So it's just DIY FPV. For me, the value, it's just to get people flying. Like, it's to be part of something. Like, it should have value to everybody. It doesn't have to be one specific thing that has to do everything perfectly to have value in this hobby. Like, I just want to get people flying. And it's the same with, like, value gear. You don't have to have the best and the fanciest and all the bells and whistles and everything like that. Like, when I started FPV, I started it with no community, and I had to build a community. And I think that just to be part of this amazing hobby has value in itself. And this tool, this website, will allow people to do that. here, and I was actually really grateful for them going through this on the stream because it does clear up a lot of misconceptions that people have. Let's see, I need to find
The value add for people to visit.
This is really hard. Okay, how do we keep up with everything?
My point is, like, how do you even keep up with all the new flight controllers and hardware that's out there? This is everything. Every receiver, every VTX, every flight controller, every ESC.
The problem is if you can't ever actually trust it 100%, you have to go look up every wiring diagram anyway, so that feature isn't helpful, right? I think.
All right, so right there, this is great for me to talk about. So how do we keep up with everything when they're talking about, like, this is every flight controller, every VTX, every receiver? That's not, we never said that. Like, I don't know where they're getting that information from. What this is, and we do have a big plan to be able to get that, and it's actually like a multiple solution plan to be able to cover as much as we can without limited resources. So how do we keep up with everything? So this is just builder related. Like, I think this is the part a lot of people are talking about when DIY FPV, it is so much more than the builder. Like, this is one cool feature. You wait till you see what else we're bringing, that, like, we're talking about, like, race integrations and pilot, like everything that we have value and I value in FPV is going to be in DIY FPV. So the way we are planning, this is the way we are planning to go through and keep up with updated with, like, how we're going to go about putting those parts from the catalog into the builder. So we've got many similar parts. So a lot of default parts, a default is basically close or very easy to work with because you might have a cheap analog camera. It's got, like, ground, video, and your power. Like, some of those old analog cameras are quite easy to switch out and substitute for other ones. We've got a bunch of priority parts. So there's going to be some very high use parts that people are going to use. So let's say the DJI Air Unit 03, right? Once we have a schematic for this, a lot of pilots are going to be using that. Like, when it comes to the digital systems and putting them into your craft, we will do those. Like, those parts will be done. We're going to put them as a priority task. You'll be able to import them. It's going to know exactly what we're doing. Those parts, yes, they will be done. But will it be done for every single part? No, because that's, like, trying to do that is completely a waste of time when it comes to our resources. Plus, we're going to give pilots some other tools to solve those problems. So what about an uncommon part? A part that's not listed. How are we going to fix that? So if you assign a default part or shape and no asset is available to choose that, you can choose which one you want. Like, I'm going to open up this picture right here. Someone's saying is Mike is dying. Let the man cook. And he's saying, and then we wonder why things like imposter syndrome exist. So I understand them asking these questions, but this is low-key quite a disappointing response to someone just trying to do something with something cool. It doesn't scream community. So that's from Nice FPV. I think Bardwell is just like I like Bardwell. I like what he does. I think he offered, like, he reached out and he had some solutions that he's like, hey, have you thought about doing this and those sorts of things. So I don't know. He's probably just looking at it maybe from a business side of view. I'm not sure. I just want to make something really cool for the community. So we're talking about right here. So this is for, like, uncommon parts. So here's something from the design document that I've taken, not the design document from the Figma stage. Now look, yes, some eagle-eyed viewers, you'll understand, yeah, this is not this product. Like, this is not the code that is live and working. This is like, hey, this is how things are going to work. So this is just a screenshot from that. So if you, hopefully you guys can look past that, but say you want to put in your flight controller, it's going to populate on the right-hand side, and we will have, like, if it is a high priority part, you can choose that part. If it is a part that doesn't have a listing, you can also choose to put in a default part. If you don't like that, you can put in your own, like, you've got an option here to upload your own image. So if you want to share this, that's what it's all about. You can take that image, put it in there and say, hey, I'm building this. You don't have to use our pieces. It's like, this is for everybody. You want to do your own schematic. You want to wire something else up. I mean, you could even use this to wire up a microwave. I don't know. That's like how powerful this tool is. You can put this in here and you can go through that wiring steps with your own stuff as well. So that's how we're going to handle those if you want to use that. So you got to remember too, a big criticism that a lot of people are having is, how is this going to know where the pads are, what this is all about? And the reason, like, I have a design document right here. This right here is an early design document. This is not like a quick website we've thrown together. There's been a lot of discussions and serious talk about how can we help FPV. And if I drag this over, so you can see right here, this part, the aim of DIY FPV is a helpful and easy to use tool that can simply show wiring connections on drone builds. No one has ever said that, or hopefully, unless I've misspoken, that this is going to do all your wiring for you. You can just put your parts in and it will show exactly what to do. We don't want to do that. Like, I've been a teacher. I was a teacher for 10 years. And when it comes to things and how people learn, the best way to do that is to give them the tools and the scaffolding to be able to do that. Like this, it started what we called as Solder Studio, and then we changed it to Builder. But the way it is made, so you can look at it and you can think, right, I'm going to go through and do this. You do need to do a little bit of research. You do need to do a little bit of work when it comes to building your drone. Like that's what this hobby is all about. It is DIY FPV. It's not just like everything gets done for you FPV. So you do need to do a little bit of work, but I believe ultimately it's going to be an important way to get people flying, to get people learning, to get them in the air. So, and Showdown is saying, there's a saying, a subpar project that you complete is better than a perfect one that you don't. Yeah, here's a great example. Like, have you ever seen kids when it comes to coloring in? And yes, I'm comparing you guys to children right here. I can give my daughter a coloring in sheet, and when she does it versus a printed out picture of like an Elsa princess, she will be so much more proud and so much more connected and have done so much more with that colored in picture. She's going to want to put that on her wall, or we're going to put that on the fridge rather than something we print out. So there is definite, when it goes back to value, learning to do some of these things yourself. And plus that allows us to focus on some other things and free up some time and to work on some other parts, which are absolutely critical to, I guess, what we want to focus on first in DIY FPV. We have here, how do we check wire pinout? So this is really important. So a lot of people, again, they think that it's going to be wiring them up themselves, but in DIY FPV, when you open up this part here, you're going to be able to see a little part, and not only when you look at the product part right here, you're going to be able to see things like a link to the manual. You can also basically, you can see where this part has been used in some other builds as well. Well, that's the plan of like when you guys start creating it, say, hey, did you know that Kiz FPV used this flight controller in his build? Would you like to see how he wired it up? So you can go and look at how he's done it now. Does that guarantee that Kiz hasn't done it the correct way? I don't know. That's up to, like, there has to be some onus on people. We're not going to be building every single drone for every single person, because that's a ridiculous idea. And I don't think that that's going to be useful for people getting them flying and keeping them in the hobby. If they break something, I don't want them to have to come back here and go, all right, let's see, is there an exact build that's broken, the exact part that I have, and how can I find that? No. But I do have the skills on how to put these together. I know how to look at the manual. I know how to check a wiring diagram. And yes, you could say, well, they could do all this stuff before, you know, they could look at their own, they could get out their box and their piece of paper where they ordered it from. Yeah, you could do all that. It's all in one place. Like, this is everything DIY FPV. This is all you need. We've collated it all. We're building on something. We are building something for the community that I think people will find a lot of value in. Now, the next part, who's going to spend time to keep this up to date? Not only all that, but the links change all the time. So the great part about importing parts into DIY FPV is that it uses, like, we are not just skimming data from the internet. It is actually some proper integrations and working and meeting with stores. And we set up things where it takes their database, puts it into DIY FPV. We do some cool things with some AI, which collates it. And that's how we're going to have, making sure that those links are up to date all the time. And then that will be matched to a product in our database. So if one store does change, it doesn't matter, because you've still got all the other stores around the world where that has the most, I guess, the highest score rating, trust rating, or something like that for that product is that part in the builder. So that's how we're going to do that. I wrote this little part down. This one was cool. What about all the negative people? What about those people complaining and saying, this, I don't want this. You should do this. This is a stupid idea. Hoo-ha, you know, whatever. You know, my best advice to them is, man, go kick rocks. I don't care. I haven't charged you anything for this site. I haven't asked for anything for this site. We are not accountable to anybody in here. I could turn this into a 100-year non-stop playing cat video website and nobody could really criticize me, because this is a passion project. Like, I love FPV. Tom's loves FPV. Like, this is built by FPV pilots for FPV pilots. If you don't like it, whatever, it's your fault. Like, this has got nothing to do with me if you want to be negative about it. I just want to make something to give back to the community. And I'm really excited for it. So yeah, if those people are being kind of negative, then they can do that. We'll just see them back here when they think, oh, I kind of might want to use that tool. And if they come back, and if they don't, it's no problem from me. All right, when is this going to release? I'm just going to check up on chat. The Hills Have FPV is saying, I want my money back. Oh, the mic is driving me crazy. Yes, sorry, guys. My guess is that you'll have a backend API which can relay information from the stores on a schedule. So if they change prices, the backend will communicate to theirs and update. Yeah, everything is, yeah, it absolutely is using APIs and linked in with integrations with stores. You're absolutely right. Sean is saying, if this site has ability to have a community to submit, add, change, correct component wiring, etc., stuff like an edit on the in a wiki way, then it's powerful, the community project. And the Hills Have FPV saying, it's a big job. I hope you find a way to make money on it, and don't be ashamed of making money on it. Like, if it is successful, that would be fantastic. If there is some revenue that we can reinvest or I can use as income, that will be fantastic. But the reason I do this is because I want you pilots out there to be able to enjoy FPV, all those things we spoke about, value, and be part of a community, have a cool place to streamline your process to getting out and just enjoying the sky. So that's what it's about. Right here, we've got, when's this as a release? So this is like going to be a staged release. We've only got so many people on the team. We will launch some features before others. Expect a soft launch soon. So those for people who have like signed up early, we're going to be sending out some early access and some beta testers. And things like that. And we will have a major release when we are launching the stores with the product matchings and the builders. So that's going to be what our major release is on. And we've got like a whole roadmap of some really cool features, which I'll talk about next week. You see some things that we're working on. So it's going to be released in stages. It's not going to release and saying, hey, here's everything. The whole complete site is done. This is like a constant thing that we're really passionate about. We're going to release this feature. Then we're going to focus on some other features. Then will be other passes. We will go back around and say, hey, some people have come up with these issues or these solutions. Let's implement them and make the parts we have already done even better. So that's what we're going to do. And finally, what I would say is, if you would like to help or you have some feedback or something like that down below, there is a link that should be in this one that just goes through like, hey, if you've got some feedback, please drop it down below, like even a feature. Hey, I would like to have this, or I'd like to have that, because a lot of those are little gems that it would be great. If you have something that you think this would be helpful, can you include this? You never know, that might be an idea that will help hundreds of other people. And that's what it's all about, just getting people flying. And if you know how to help, or you have some specific ideas and say, hey, I'm really good at this, we are often looking for a lot of people to, I guess, you know, we're always open to working with other people. If you've got some great ideas and you can bring something to the team, like myself, I don't know how to code. I don't know how to draw like Ray Noland or anything like that, like the artist who is doing some amazing stuff like these images. I could never draw like that. What I can do, I can talk. I was a teacher for 10 years. I know how people learn. Like, it's for everybody, made by people who are passionate about it. So there is also a link down below in this stream if you would like to be involved in DIY FPV. Definitely check those out. It was just something small. Like, I saw a great comment the other day, which is easy to do, and I was like, man, that's fantastic. I'll have to find out who said it, but it was like, it'd be cool if you could import everything, and then it tells you the weight of your build. We've got all the data from how much those parts weigh. That doesn't seem like it's too far-fetched to be able to implement a system, say, here's all I want to build. Here would be my estimated build weight. So something like that could be very, very cool. Alrighty, let's have a look right here. Let's see. Nice FPV is saying, I think a solid stage 1 release date might help calm people down a lot. Lots of people on the forum saying who can't sign up and you can't see anything. Yep, that is because the site's not live yet. Like, I'm pretty sure I've explained that in each time that we've had the site there. But yeah, you'll be able to make an account. We've got some cool things coming. But yeah, you just got to wait. Like, I want to make sure some things are working first and those other parts. So there's a heap of work in this, and I'm really excited to be doing it.